Yo, what is up, everybody? So today, we have a lot to talk about. First off, um, we're gonna wait. Juan's coming in here any second in the next like 10-ish minutes. So we're gonna talk about the Matthew Stafford news first. We're gonna talk about free agent signings that we could make, some draft stuff. We'll talk about the front office, and some other news. So I'm gonna wait for some people to come in here. Let me say hi to everyone. What's up, King Sean? What's up, Ali? What's up, James? What's up, Trent? What's up, Armin Brown? Shout out Armin. What's up, the kid? What's up, Geo or G? Yeah, and what is up, Casper? So yeah, we're gonna be talking about obviously, what's up, Philip B? How you doing? We're gonna obviously be talking about the Matthew Stafford news because that is big, big news right there. I mean, they're parting ways, and we could definitely be a suitor. And like I said earlier, Juan is gonna be coming in here in the next few minutes, so we'll get his thoughts on it first. And I will be making a video tomorrow about some possible trade packages we could make and possibly some of the other teams that could be interested and what he would bring to the table. Watson would be okay. I mean, obviously I would love Watson, but I don't know if it's realistic. I don't know if we have enough to give up. I don't know if we're going to be able to give up 4 first rounders or 3 plus a really good player. So I'll read the news right here. In an array, so breaking news is Adam Schefter reported this, Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero. Um, so he said in an arrangement, the two sides have discussed and mutually agreed upon. The Lions and quarterback Matthew Stafford are expected to part ways this offseason, with Detroit listening to trade offers for its former number one overall pick starting this week. That's huge right there. So it could, here's one thing to keep in mind, guys, with these trades. It can only happen. It can only happen. They can agree to terms, but the only time it happens, the only time it can happen officially is March 17. Matthew Stafford is about 32 years old, so he isn't young by no means, but at the same time, at that quarterback position, Matthew Stafford is also not old at all. Let's look at let's see. I think Adam Schefter tweeted out another story. So let's go ahead and read that and see if we can find any other information here. But yeah, this is huge news, guys. Let's see. Yeah, 32 isn't that old. Let's read the story real quick, see if we can get any information. And we're gonna see what teams are gonna be interested in, acquiring him. Obviously, you got the Colts, the 49ers, maybe the Broncos. That's what I've heard. We'll see. So I'll read it right here. The Lions are expected. Wow. So, okay. Adam Schefter said the Lions are expected to receive at least a first round pick. At least a first round pick. That is a lot. I would be willing to give up the first round pick. I would be, but that is a lot to give up. And he said at least a first round pick. We'll see if that happens. I remember Adam Schefter, though, also earlier this year, or no, not earlier this year, a while ago, when the Trent Williams trade happened, or before that happened, he said it's gonna take a lot, maybe a first or 2 first round picks. Let's see. Tom Pelissero said, "You guys can see that." Oh no, you guys can't see this, but trade would likely. Actually, I'll move my screen right here. Let's go right here, and let me read some comments before we come in here. I would trade a first. Personally, I would trade a first. But let me know what you guys would do. Let's see. I mean, Armin, he's not very mobile, but he's mobile enough, and he doesn't take that many sacks. We'll look at some of his stats, but let me read what Tom Pelissero said. A trade would likely happen before the 5th day of the 2021 league year in March, when Stafford is due a $10 million bonus. He has 2 years and $43 million left on his contract. A bargain price for a quarterback who is still playing at a high level. So yeah, we would get him for very, very like in terms of money, it would be somewhat cheap. Yep, that's what we're talking about. Amon, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And you got to keep in mind who's our general manager right now, Martin Mayhew, who obviously drafted Matthew Stafford with the first overall pick in 2009, has a good relationship with him, absolutely loves Matthew Stafford. So, I mean, this is big. This is big right here. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know though. I'm just saying, if we get Matthew Stafford, we're no doubt the favorites to win the division. Doesn't matter the Dak Prescott's health. I mean, we're the favorites to win the division, and we could go far in the playoffs depending on who we bring in. Do we bring in some veteran wide receivers? Um do we bring in some linebackers? So it's going to be interesting. No problem, Ed. Um yeah, Daniel, they're gonna want someone. I mean, I don't think they want a QB in return, but they're gonna want to draft a quarterback with the 7th overall pick. So they're gonna want to draft the quarterback in the first round. So they might use, let's say we give up pick 19, they might use pick 19 and pick 7 to trade up to pick 3 or something like that. A third is not going to get it done. 3-time Super Bowl champ. A third is not going to get it done. What's up, Scotty? Shout out to Scotty, always coming in here. So yeah, this is big news, guys. Gonna keep this. I mean, this is definitely something to monitor for the next weeks. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of Matthew Stafford rumors. Like I said, I will be making a video on it tomorrow. Go more in depth about it, but do some more research. But this is big news. He's under contract for 2 more years. So we get him for this year and the next year. Doggo asked any updated rumors on Watson. There was some rumors today about how his preferred destinations is the Jets at number 1 and then Miami. So, we'll see. He has a no trade clause, so he can really pick where he wants. But if there's only one team that is giving a really good offer, I think he's going to be fine going to us if that is the case. Scotty, so Scotty asked a good question. Would you give up a 19 and a third for Stafford? I mean, that's a tough question. It's tough. I would give up a first. I would definitely give up a first. I mean, you have to understand he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. And not only is he one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, but you also got him for super cheap. I mean, 2 years, $42 million. That's a bargain. 2 years, $42 million. That is really, really good. I mean, you think about it, most quarterbacks are getting most elite or above average quarterbacks, which Stafford is. They're getting about 30 plus $1 million a year. So we're getting Stafford for 2 years for 42 million, about that. And that's a really good deal. And we would be able to, spend some money on wide receiver or re-sign our guys. A third, yeah, I think I agree with Philip. This would be the max I would give up. 19 and our later third round pick. I'm still not sure if I would do. I would probably do it though. I think I would do it. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. We can look at his stats in a bit. And Juan Juan said he's coming in here in a few minutes. So we'll get his thoughts on it. And someone asked if I would draft Mac Jones with the 19th pick. No. 19, no. I don't think Ron and Scott Turner will like him at 19 just because, not very mobile. He's the opposite of mobile. He's okay in the pocket speed-wise, but I just don't think they're going to do it. And I don't think they're going to try to get a first-round quarterback. Maybe if Trey Lance falls, then yes. But this is interesting. I mean, think about it, guys. There's cheaper trading for Sam Darnold. The thing is, Carlton, Sam Darnold, sure, he has so much talent. Dwayne Haskins had a lot of talent too, and I know they're two totally different people. Darnold, by all accounts, has practiced hard, worked hard, and stuff like that, but the results just haven't been there. I know he played for the Jets, but it's just I would not go for Darnold. I would, my first options would be Stafford. Go after Stafford, maybe Deshaun Watson. Maybe you can even go after Dak in free agency because you can steal him from the Cowboys and they would be in shambles without him, or at least for a year or two to get their quarterback. So Darnold, I don't know. And I don't know what the price would be. So it's going to be an interesting offseason. We'll talk about it more in tomorrow's video. So we got Juan in here. And again, make sure you guys check out his channel. Great Washington football team YouTuber. Let me bring him in real quick. So what's up, Juan?
What's going on, Pedro? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? My bad for being late, man. Had to go do some things.
Nah, you're good. So real quick, we talked about it for a bit, but what's your thoughts on the Matthew Stafford, not rumors, but what happened and what would you be willing to give up?
Okay, so with Matthew Stafford, I'm actually happy and hyped about this news, and if it's in fact true. Because I mean, did Ian Rappaport break the news? I seen it on the screen.
Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, and Tom Pelissero.
Okay, because I seen it on JPA's page, so I didn't really know if it was like official, but so I like it, man. I'm happy. I'm hoping we can land him here. He's my number one quarterback. I saw as far as trying to stay within range of the future, and what I mean by that is being able to pay our guys instead of going out and trading for a guy like Deshaun Watson or signing like Dak Prescott. Although those are like the dream quarterbacks, I think this is the smartest free agent signing because you know what you're getting out of Matthew Stafford. He's going to cost you a little bit, but he's also going to be willing. He's not going to cost a lot. Now the thing is, what are we willing up to trade from? Me personally, I don't know because I don't really know what Detroit is going to be asking for. I'm not giving up a first round. I would consider giving up a second round just because we typically don't draft well in the second round.
Real quick, Adam Schefter said in one of his stories, he said that they're going to get at least a first-round pick. That's what he said.
Well, if that is true, then I don't want Matthew Stafford because although he's a great quarterback and all, I just don't think he's worth the first round pick anymore. So me personally, I would consider giving up a second round pick. I wouldn't even be fully, sure on that. But since we have a history of bad second round picks, I would be willing to give up a second round pick. And second round, I don't really know what else because I don't really know what they want. You know what I'm saying? So, but me personally, I was going to say like a second round and maybe Tim Settle, but Tim Settle, he's not under contract for this year. I think he's getting paid either this year or next year. And then on top of that too, do they even need a defensive tackle? It's just so much because both teams have to agree on. We can say what we're willing to give up, but Detroit has to be willing to accept it. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a second round. I'm not really sure.
I personally will give up a first. Just think about it. I mean, if any Washington football team fan, if you're even considering drafting a quarterback, like obviously none of us are in charge of the team, but if you want us to draft a quarterback at 19, then you should be totally fine with giving up that 19 pick for Matthew Stafford because no one in this class is going to be that we're going to be able to get at 19 is going to be remotely close to what Stafford is in the next few years. Maybe Trey Lance can be, but definitely, Trey Lance is seen to be a project. Like he's going to probably sit out at least his first year, maybe even more. And one thing that I just hate that people talk about Matthew Stafford, people are like, oh, he's injury prone. Please stop with that. He played all 16 games this year. Last year, he played 8 games, okay? The 8 years before that, he played every single game. So that notion is just not true. Not injury prone. Yes, he does have some minor injuries, but he usually plays through those. And, he's still as effective as he normally is. But the notion that he misses a lot of games and he's very injury prone is just not true. Yes, he missed 8 games last year, but that really was his most injured season. Juan, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, yeah.
So,
give me your top 3 considering the price and everything. Like consider what we'd have to give him free pay them in free agency or in a trade, what are your top 3 quarterback options going into this offseason? So considering what we have to pay and everything.
That's interesting. As far as like what we do, we like that we're that actually that we should be trading for or drafting, or just as for just free agents.
Wait, what? Sorry.
I was just saying. So just free agents, or like free agents, people that we have on our
Including you
roster,
can
draft.
go any quarterback. So people we trade for, people in the draft or free agency.
So if it was up to me and I was the one doing it all, I would, me personally, I would try to trade for Stafford. That's my number one. And considering the fact that we have to pay for him. So this is a realistic plan, not a dream plan, not the Deshaun Watson, that's a dream plan. But if we're being realistic as far as trying to get the quarterback for the now or slash the future, and then also have money to pay for your your guys later down the line, then I think the number one, the option that is more realistic and to be the best for both sides, being able to pay your players and getting a winning window now. I think you trade for Stafford. I think then number two, I would either roll with Kyle Allen or Taylor Heineke. And number three would be to draft a guy in the later rounds. But then if we do that, who is going to play starter? You know what I'm saying? So number two and number three kind of ties in with each other because me personally, if number three is the way we go, I think we draft a guy, but then let Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen or maybe even Alex Smith start because I don't think Alex Smith is going to retire. I really don't want him here, not because he's not a great person or he can play. But that's both true. He's the great person. He still can play. It's just that he costs too much. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I don't want Alex Smith here, but you still have to throw him in the mix. Just because he's at the moment. So me personally, number three seems like the second realistic option in my well, as far as the list and timeline goes, but that's not number two on my list because I would rather go with Stafford or have Kyle Allen or Heineke start.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I think sure Kyle Allen can do. I mean, Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke can be serviceable, but I'd rather have someone more proven. We'll see though. We'll see. Let's see, and you guys can take a look at Matthew Stafford. His stats right there on the screen. I mean, he's had some really solid years. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Just had to do something real quick. If you look at his stats real quick, this year he had a decent year, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He was playing hurt and still had a really, really good year behind a bad offensive line. The year before that was, again, the only really year he got hurt. And in 8 games, he played really, really good. He had 19 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. That's on pace for 38 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and he was on pace for 5,000 yards. That is like, if he would have finished out that season with that same production, he would have finished that season out as a top 5 quarterback in the league. Let's see. And then the year before that, he had a little bit of a down year, 21-11. The year before that, 29-10. So I mean, he's a gunslinger, usually over 4,000 yards passing. And he hasn't necessarily had the best team around him. He's usually had to carry his teams. The last couple years, he's had solid wide receiving cores, but that's really the last year or so. Before that, really didn't have that much. Besides the first few years of Calvin Johnson with Matthew Stafford. Shout out Philip B. Thank you so much for the $10 donation. I make the trade for a first for Stafford. It's not we keep our first, get a linebacker or offensive tackle 19, get a later round QB. Yeah, I agree. I think I would, if we don't use our first for Stafford or another quarterback, or another quarterback in the draft, or not in the draft, in a trade, I would go for possibly a linebacker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Micah Parsons, if he somehow falls, Zaven Collins, some offensive tackles, Christian Darrisaw, and then maybe You could go for a cornerback too, Caleb Farley. That's what I would do if we do end up still keeping our first round pick. I just think that, Matthew Stafford is going to make a way bigger impact with at 19, and he's so like obviously all these first round picks are hit or miss. You know what you're going to get out of Stafford, and I don't know if you saw this, Juan. I was talking earlier. He's under contract for 2 more years, and it's going to be $42 million. That is a bargain. That's 21 mil a year when most starting quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins is making like 30 something mil a year. Carson Wentz is making over 30 million. Jared Goff is making over 30 million, and he's going to be making $21 million. Like that's a really big a really big bargain. One thing we got to keep in mind, if Matthew Stafford comes to DC, it really most likely means Alex Smith is gone, regardless if he retires or not. If he retires, then I think obviously that takes care of things. But if not, we might end up cutting him. Juan, what would you target in the first round? Let's say if we don't trade our first round pick. And again, Philip, thank you for the donation.
So, thinking since the draft is after free agency, thinking, in my opinion, that we get a quarterback, whether that's Matthew Stafford or not. I'm stuck between because I don't want a quarterback at 19 unless it falls into our lap. Then I'll take a quarterback. But you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Trey Lance yet. If he comes here, I'll obviously back him up. But I'm not the biggest fan of him. So unless he falls into our lap, then I would take him. But other than that, I want either a wide receiver or a linebacker. I like the guy from Notre Dame. I haven't really got a chance. I watched a little bit of his film, but I'm still on the opposite side of the ball as far as watching film. So I'm either going linebacker or receiver. If Waddle is there and he take him, I've been seeing a lot of people say we should get the guy from Florida. I forgot his name. I think it's like Decarius Tony or something like that.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people saying we should get him. Me personally, if I'm at 19, I'm selecting Rashad Bateman, man. I love Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. I think him and Terry McLaurin would really be a good duo, but at the same time, I think Ron Rivera made it abundantly clear that he wants a veteran receiver alongside Terry McLaurin, and we already have a bunch of young guys. You know what I'm saying? So I think what they're going to do is actually maybe go linebacker at 19, because this defense is missing their middle linebacker. And like Chris Cooley said, we're one middle linebacker away from having the best defense in the NFL. So I think they're going to go linebacker at 19, and I wouldn't be mad at that. I would actually like that. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. Wide receiver and linebacker, like I already stated, are my first two options. So I would either go from the guy from Notre Dame, Zaven Collins, like y'all been mentioning, or a receiver. But since I'm going to go with the more realistic option, I think they're going to go linebacker because we're going to get a veteran receiver in free agency.
Yeah, I agree. And some people are saying Matthew Stafford is 0-3 in the playoffs. Let me just say this. I mean, the Detroit Lions, in 63 years of their franchise's existence, they have one playoff win. So, sure, he could have played better in some of those games, and they got robbed in that game against the Cowboys. They should have won that game, and that would have been a win. But I mean, he's played really well. Not necessarily really well in the playoffs, but he's played good enough to win in a lot of games in the playoffs. So, I'm not really concerned with that. And here's what I'll say. About the draft. I don't want to go wide receiver first round unless it is obviously it's not realistic. But Devontae Smith, if he somehow follows Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase, which, like I said, not very likely that happens. But if it somehow does happen, then I would definitely go ahead and do it. I mean, those guys are elite talents, and if they fall, I'm taking them. Same thing with Kyle Pitts. And then after that, because I was looking at a stat, not a stat, but all the receivers drafted and what round they were drafted in. And mods, can you guys take care of that real quick? About Dr. Sketch, but so a lot of late round receivers, a lot of the better receivers in the league aren't necessarily first round picks. So I would be okay with it. I mean, I would love it if it was one of those top 4 guys. But if not, then I'm going ahead and, like you said, linebackers. I love Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's not necessarily that middle linebacker, but Chris Cooley actually said that, in watching film, that Cole Holcomb could be that middle linebacker. So if you put Cole Holcomb in the middle, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a beast. You could, if Micah Parsons somehow falls, you got Zaven Collins, and I would not be mad at cornerback too. Thank you, Brian. Cornerback, I mean Caleb Farley. You got J.C. Horn. I would not mind that at all. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about free agency for a bit. We'll come back to the draft at the end of the video. Juan, what are some of your favorite free agency targets? It can be any position.
So before I even get into the free agency, I just want to say about Matthew Stafford. If you guys know football and watch football, if it was not for, I'm going to just say Matthew Stafford is the sole reason why Detroit hasn't been 0-16 for the past decade. I don't like, this guy has literally carried this team. He's been a part of 3 rebuilds. He's literally, like Pedro said, they got robbed in the playoffs. He's always playing at an MVP caliber level. He just never has the team around him. He had a defense like we have, and he never, I'm not going to say he had, because obviously we don't have the weapons, and I believe their receiving core is actually better than ours. They have Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, what is the dude name? The tight end, I forget, Hawkinson or something like that. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
but you guys know what I'm talking about. They have some solid weapons over there. Honestly speaking, if he gets a Terry McLaurin, and if we draft or free agents, and then have Logan Thomas, this offensive line can protect them. I honestly think he's going to perform at a high level. And if you guys see that he's been an MVP caliber quarterback, and at the start, he's always an MVP caliber quarterback at the start of the season, like the first 5-6 weeks, and then he tails off.
And they start losing.
Yep, and then if he can come here and play like that, especially with that, he doesn't really have to carry the team as much anymore. Man, it's gonna be good. But so some free agents that I see us signing, or that I would prefer, obviously Matthew Stafford, that isn't considered a free agent at the moment, I guess you can say, because you have to trade him. He's still in contract. So official free agents, I would love for us to get a Kenny Galladay, Chris Godwin. Obviously, as we know, I'm not the biggest Juju Smith-Schuster fan, but if he comes here, I wouldn't mind it because he's better than anything we have. As far as any other positions, I like Levante David. I like Javon. What is the dude name from Tennessee? Not Javon. What is his name? You know what I'm talking about? The guy from Tennessee. I forgot his name. Someone would tell me. He's the linebacker. Jayon Brown. There we go. Not Jamal. Jayon Brown is my favorite linebacker out of free agency. I would like for us to also attack Corey Davis. They have to re-sign Jonnu Smith. So Tennessee has a lot of people that they have to re-sign. And honestly speaking, we could probably take 2 of those players, whether that's Jonnu Smith, Jayon Brown, or even Corey Davis. It's a lot of people that we can get, but my top players that I want Jayon Brown like the most out of all positions because I love how he plays. Then after that, I would probably go maybe the Corey Davis route because all the other receivers outside of maybe Juju are going to be demanding a number 1 money and get it. Now, Juju may try to command number 1 money, but obviously we know Juju number 1. And then as far as it secondary goes, I feel like our secondary is good enough to go into 2021. But if we were to attack the secondary, maybe we can go safeties like a lot of people like Justin Simmons or the guy from Minnesota. Me personally, if it was up to me, I would roll with the defense we have now. Maybe get a free safety and spend big money on the defense because I feel like it's good as it is already.
Yeah. Andreas asked, "Do you think we re-sign Reuben Foster?" I think we might. I don't really know. I don't think it's going to be a priority. I think really depends on how many offers he gets from other teams. He's not going to get a lot of money. We can talk about that a little bit later. But again, thanks for coming in the stream. And one more thing about Matthew Stafford is he is a clutch quarterback. I mean, there's so many times he comes in there and makes a fourth quarter comeback, or leads their team on a, nice drive, game-winning drive. I mean, just think about the game against us. Think about the game versus us. We made that field goal, had 19 seconds or 16 seconds left. He drove the ball downfield 50 yards. 50
Mm-hmm.
yards in 16 seconds. They scored the field goal. They won the game. Like that's what we need. That's what we need, especially with the defense like us. I mean, with the defense that we have, I think it would be good. Now going on to free agents, I agree with you. I would go after, here's the thing. If we go after someone like Stafford, or if let's say somehow we get Dak or something like that, then you're not going to be able to pay Allen Robinson 20, 17, $18 million a year, because not only are you going to have to pay Stafford or whoever your quarterback is, but you're going to have to pay the D line soon. So I would probably go after someone like, maybe, who would be a good fit if we get Stafford? Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones had
Mm-hmm.
about 900 yards last year, already has the chemistry with Stafford, and would be a really, really good veteran. Curtis
Yeah.
Samuel also would be good, and Kenny Galladay would be a lot more expensive, but
Yeah.
maybe you could go after him. And then I also think that what's up, James? We definitely need to go after, not necessarily in free agency, could be in the draft too. I think we need some more depth at the tight end position. Logan Thomas is great, but I mean, if he somehow goes down, I mean, we need someone else besides him.
Yeah.
And real quick, got almost 200 people in the stream. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new. And Brian just dropped Juan's link, so make sure you guys check him out too. Subscribe to both of us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate it.
and yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a very interesting offseason. But I would go, my biggest positions in free agency, I would say wide receiver. I would say wide receiver, backup tight end, and then maybe I would think about maybe linebacker or cornerback. Yeah, Kerrigan's most likely going to be gone. Kerrigan's going to be gone. It sucks, but I mean, he thinks, and he probably will be, um, probably going to be a starter somewhere. So we'll see. I mean, again, I love Kerrigan. I want him to be here for life, but I mean, he's not starting over Montez Sweat and Chase Young. Um, what's a guy that you would not want to get in free agency?
I don't really, surprisingly not. I don't really have that many guys I don't want to get. Maybe outside of Juju, and not because of the TikTok stuff. It doesn't matter. Let the guy have fun. I personally didn't have any. Of course, I enjoyed them making fun of it and him getting popped for it. But I don't have a problem with him dancing. If he comes to this team and he's doing his TikToks, I would love it. That would make it more fun. That would make the team actually have more fun and actually want to do their job. I don't have a problem with that. I don't want Juju because I don't think he's a true number one. He's a okay number two. Me personally, and call me crazy all you want to. I think he's a number three. I really do. If you look at that Pittsburgh Steelers team, he is the third option on that team. I swear he is. Deontay Johnson rather, is better than him. I don't care what anyone say. Call me crazy if you want to. This is my brutal opinion. Chase Claypool is going to be better than him in 2 years. Deontay Johnson, they're going to be a nice 1-2 punch. And then they also have Deontay Washington. I just don't think that Juju is worth all that money. I think if he comes here along with Curtis Samuel, that will be fine. But I just don't think he'll be the number two that Terry McLaurin needs. The perfect number two that Terry McLaurin needs is a vertical threat, because the only person on this team that could beat a team deep or even scare them to go vertical is Terry McLaurin. What is better? Having another guy like that. So he needs another guy that's similar to him, that scares defenses, that they can get burnt vertically. If you look on the roster now, we don't really have that. Maybe outside of Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims, not so much. But you look at everyone else: Kelvin Harmon, Isaiah Wright, AGG. The receivers we have on this roster, they don't scare you vertically. And besides Terry McLaurin, so we need a guy that can beat them deep. And Juju isn't that guy. He's your underneath goal line, red zone target, across the middle, the target slants, digs, drags, all that. He's it downfield kind of guy. And I think that's what we need alongside Terry McLaurin. Will Fuller, I would love Will Fuller, but PEDs, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of his PEDs, he's injury prone. So I don't know if we really would want to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want Juju at all. I just, I think he's gonna get a lot of money. I don't think he's a number one. I think he's a number two, but still, I think he's gonna get a lot of money. Don't want Juju. Curtis Samuel, he's not necessarily a number two receiver just because he's more of a slot guy. So I mean, Cam Sims would still technically be our wide receiver two because he's on the outside, but I think that would help us out a lot. And you could have a starting wide receiver lineup of Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Cam Sims, which I wouldn't mind. I think it's a big upgrade over what we have. Curtis Samuel, much better than Steven Sims. I mean, Curtis Samuel, this season that he had is what we thought, maybe a little bit less, but we thought that Steven Sims would have a little bit of a similar season to what he had. Yeah, Corey Davis would be good too. I think he's going to get more money than most people think. But we'll see about that. Juan, what do you think's gonna happen with Alex Smith? Do you think he's gonna retire? Do you think if he doesn't retire, what do you think we're gonna do with him?
Honestly, I don't see Alex Smith retiring, man. I really don't, and I hope he does for our sake. That we need all the money we can have. But I just don't think he's going to retire, dude. I honestly don't. And me personally, knowing Ron Rivera, knowing he loves his veterans, he might mess around and keep Alex Smith. If it was up to me, I'll let him go another direction. It's time to get a new quarterback. But knowing Ron Rivera, I don't think he's going to retire, and I would not be surprised if Ron Rivera keeps him around.
Yeah, and one thing about also the quarterback position that we could do is let's say we end up, yeah, Nira, I like that idea. Let's say we somehow get out, or not Alex Smith, Matthew Stafford with that, and we trade, let's say we give up the 19th overall pick. We could use a late round pick, mid round pick. We have 2 third-round picks this year, or we could do it next year. Grab a quarterback, a developmental guy that maybe you like, but he can sit behind Matthew Stafford for a few years. Maybe not necessarily do it this year, but you could do it in 2022, and he could develop in a few years. And, I don't know. That's just a thought right there. And it's also not bad to draft quarterbacks every year because you never know who's going to be good or not. I mean, you got Gardner Minshew in the 6th round who's been a beast. Not a beast, but he's way outperformed where he was drafted. So I would not be mad with that. So everybody in the chat, drop your best the free agent you want us to sign the most. And then in a bit, once we read some of the comments, we're going to talk about the front office.
Yeah.
So,
can I add on? Gardner Minshew has been way better than Dwayne Haskins, and he was drafted in the 6th round. And Curtis Samuel, only way I would take Curtis Samuel is if that's not the only move we make at receiver, because Curtis Samuel is not a number 2 receiver. He is a gadget slot receiver. Get him alongside with maybe an Allen. I'm just throwing out there Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Davis with. If as long as we're getting another receiver or even a drafted guy, if in fact you go Curtis Samuel right and draft another guy, just make sure you get a guy alongside Curtis Samuel because receiver.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, now what's up, Matthew? Someone said Dak. Armin said Allen Robinson. Dog said Curtis Samuel. Frazier said Dak. Andy, no one's given up on AGG. We'll see what he does in his 2nd year. I don't have huge expectations, but we'll see what he does. Still have high hopes for him. I think he can be solid, but let's just see what he does. So now let's talk about not the free agents, the front office. So what are your thoughts on the whole? Go ahead, Martin Mayhew, Marty Hurney, and the Kyle Smith situation. What are your thoughts? Do you like the moves or not?
Well, I'm not sure if you guys caught my video earlier, but you guys know if you've been paying attention to my channel that I did not want Kyle Smith gone. I did not want Marty Hurney. I did not want Marty Hurney here. Ryan Coden was the only guy that I really liked the lab. But I like the hire of Martin May. Don't get me wrong, but he was okay to me. He wasn't my preferred choice. Ryan Coden was. But with Kyle Smith being gone, I don't like it because I don't know the new guy, whoever they bring in to replace him. And they said they're making a bunch of changes to the draft scouting department. None of those guys are going to be able to do and like Kyle Smith. I don't like the move, but we have to deal with it. And another thing I want to address as far as the front office, I remember somebody said earlier in the stream, is that Martin Mayhew wants to get as far away from Detroit players as possible, that being Matthew Stafford. I disagree. I think with the hire of Martin Mayhew, that actually increases the chance of Matthew Stafford being able to come to Washington because he's drafted Matthew Stafford. And honestly speaking, that boosts his chances of him coming here. Just how with Marty Hurney, which I hope doesn't happen. I really pray that it doesn't happen. But with Marty Hurney being here, that boosts Cam Newton's chances of coming here. So with the whole front office shakeup, I'm not a fan of it, man. But hey, we didn't this year, and now we have one, so we got to see how it's going to run out or be.
I mean, I personally, I mean, of course, it sucks to see Kyle Smith go, and I don't think it was necessarily us moving on from him. I think it was kind of mutual. I mean, I guess it's both because Kyle Smith could have stayed in his role or a little bit a different role, but we hired Martin Hurney in his similar role, so he's probably gonna leave and go somewhere else. But I mean, I think bring in Martin Mayhew, Martin Hurney, guys that are experienced. I mean, over 60 years in the NFL. I think it's a good move. I mean, not necessarily the perfect guys like you said. I mean, I would rather like Coden or maybe even JoJo Wooden. Of course, I would like Kyle Smith, but I think guys that can handle stuff that Ron had to do last year that he really shouldn't have been doing. I mean, the guy should not have been in meetings to watch Lamar Miller play in his visit, stuff like that. He shouldn't be handling that. That should be the GM, and Ron Rivera should get a small briefing on it. But that's really it. I think that's going to be a lot of the stuff that Marty Hurney and Martin Mayhew do is that kind of stuff. And obviously, they're going to have some say in the personnel and stuff like that. But I mean, we still got some really good scouts because Kyle Smith was amazing, but it's not just him. I mean, he was the head of everything. So when you're the head of everything, there's a lot of people feeding you information. So the scouts are feeding him information. And obviously, he was evaluating too, but he was also going off of our scouts' information. So I still think we're going to be able to find some good late round guys. Also, at the end of the video, I know this is at the end of the stream, I know this is a little off topic, but I'll give our picks for tomorrow's game if that's cool with you, Juan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Mayhew's all right. I think he had a solid track record in Detroit. Obviously, his record isn't great, but if you think about it, he had 2 winning seasons in his time in Detroit, and they've only had 5 winning seasons since 1971. So, and he's drafted some solid players. He hired Jim Caldwell, who is a solid coach for them. So I mean, I personally think it's a solid move and it gets some stability in the front office. First front office hire, like GM hire, that wasn't made by Bruce Allen or Dan Snyder since Marty Schottenheimer hired John Schneider. So, I mean, I think it's an okay move. Like you said, I would have liked to keep Kyle Smith, but I think, it is what it is. We're going to have to move on. Let's see. Do you guys want to talk about the draft a little bit more? Do you guys want to talk about free agency or what? Put that down in the chat below. Someone said trade for Minshew. Someone said Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota might be available. We'll see though. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, also someone I saw that the Eagles were interviewing our DB coach Chris Harris for their defensive coordinator job. But then I also saw a report from Michael Lombardi that um they're hiring someone else. So hopefully he stays because I really really like Chris Harris. I think he did a good job for us. So we have a couple people saying, "What's up, Big Simple?" We have some people saying free agency. So let's look at some of the free agents real quick. Also two linebackers we didn't really talk about that I would not be mad about is KJ Wright. I think KJ Wright would be okay. He's a little older, but if you got him on a short-term deal, I wouldn't be mad. And same thing with Levante David. But I don't think we're going to be spending a lot of money. I don't think we're going to be spending big money, especially if we go after Matthew Stafford. I think we'll have one big signing, like $10 to $14 million, and then a few medium signings. But I don't think we're going to have a bunch of big signings, especially if we go after someone like Matthew Stafford, because we're going to have to save our money for Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and then in a couple years, Terry McLaurin, Montez Sweat, Chase Young in a few years. So I think they're going to be smart with their money. And someone asked to look at the corners. We'll look at the corners. There's not too many great corners this year in free agency. There's a couple big names with Patrick Peterson and Richard Sherman, but they're a little older. They're a little too old for me. But I also one name that I do like is William Jackson. William Jackson I really like. I think he would be solid. I don't know how much we'd have to pay for him, but he allowed I think about 50% completion percentage, which is what?
That's
Yeah, he played for the Bengals. Really, really good. And
they should let him. He was kind of honest. My bad for cutting you off, but he was kind of locking up Terry McLaurin. Outside of that catch that he made, he kind of was giving Terry some. So if I'm Cincinnati, I'm not letting him go. I wouldn't let Carl Lawson go, but obviously they can't keep both. So my fault.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I think I would be good with going after William Jackson. I mean, he was locking down most of these big name receivers, and he was pretty solid. And guys, you guys can go ahead and the mods can you guys can ban that guy if you want next time he comments. So I mean, yeah, I would be okay with William Jackson. Let's see if there's any other big name receivers. I mean, J.C. Jackson from the Patriots, who had 9 interceptions this year. He's going to be available.
I don't think he's that good. I said I don't think J.C. Jackson that good.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, just because you have 9 interceptions doesn't mean you're a great corner. He's a good number 2 corner. Shaquille Griffin, I would be okay with that. I think former first round corner. What?
Yeah, I know. I was just saying. I actually like Shaquille. Actually good.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty solid. Xavier Rhodes, a little old. The good thing about Shaquille Griffin, he's 26, so he's still kind of in his prime. I don't think he'd be a lot of money. I would be okay with him. He has some good potential. Something to look out for, Jason Varette from the 49ers. That could be something that happens. I think, just because Martin Mayhew was with the 49ers the last couple years. So that could definitely happen. Oh, let's see, Jason Varette, or it could have been someone else.
Oh, J.C. Jackson.
Oh yeah, J.C. Jackson's restricted. Okay. What's up, Charlie? So, yeah, I think our secondary is fine. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do with Landon Collins, because Cameron Curl definitely should be our starting strong safety, and then I don't know about who's going to be our starting free safety, because I don't think Landon can play that. So is it going to be DeShazier Everett, Jeremy Reeves? Is Landon Collins going to play linebacker or a different role? That's going to be interesting to see, because, I mean, we can't really move on from him. I mean,
but I mean, like, we'll take a big cap. Not big, but like, Wasn't it like in the 20s as far as like the cap hit or something?
Yeah, it's a lot. I think we could do it probably after this season, but it's a lot of money. I know
I
it's,
would do it though, honestly speaking, after.
but I saw something where it's like it's gonna be really hard to do it. Like I don't know if we can take the cap hit. I'm gonna look it up, but I don't know if it's possible to do like after this. It might be. I think we'll probably be able to do it after this season. Um, but
What's going on, Big Simple? Appreciate.
yeah,
Oh yeah, he said Fuller's hot and cold. Like yeah, he like to start the season. Fuller was number one, but then outside, not number one, but top corner in the league. Out, but then after that, he had a very rough stretch down the end of the season. And Ronald Darby played well throughout the whole year. I really hope we can bring him back. And HTTR 445 says that JC Jack, how does a bum get up 9 picks? Well, we didn't call JC Jackson a bum. I just don't think he's that good. I mean, and interceptions doesn't determine how good you are, in my opinion. I think Ronald Darby played way better than J.C. Jackson, but obviously since J.C. Jackson got the notarized or the more notable play, he's obviously going to be obviously to the media he's going to be seeming like he's better than Ronald Darby. But me personally, I think Ronald Darby got the more important stat as far as having as many breakup passes as he did. I think he led the league in breakup passes. So I'm not saying J.C. Jackson sucks, but I'm just not saying I just don't think he's all that.
yeah. I think he's solid, but I think I think Kendall Fuller, yeah, whoever said that was right. I mean, he had a few. I mean, it's weird because he came off his injury and he was balling. He was balling after his injury, and then he had a few after like the Giants game. He had a few solid games, and then he had a few pretty bad games, and then he had some solid games, and then he had another few bad games. Yeah, Kendall Fuller is really bad against the double move. I think I mean Kendall Fuller is still a solid cornerback, but I I think we're gonna be we might still have to address that position. Maybe not in free agency, but we might do that in the draft in the second or third round. And I mean, since there's a lot of new people that have come in since the start, let's go back to the Matthew Stafford stuff. Man, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about like some people saying a second round or two first round picks for um Matthew Stafford, which I would not do. I would not do two first round picks for Matthew Stafford. Who knows what his price is going to be, though? I mean, it's going to be interesting. Let's see what, I mean, who knows when he's going to get traded? He's going to get traded. And also, you have to consider, I don't necessarily think it's going to play much of a factor, but like when a team knows you're going to trade a guy, there's a little bit less of value there, I think. When everyone knows you're going to trade him, and you're not going to keep him, I think that makes it a little bit less valuable. But also, we're in the NFC. We're in the NFC, so they might want to trade to an AFC team. Who knows, though? I really hope we can get him, Dak, or even, I mean, Deshaun. I mean, those guys are obviously going to be harder to get, but they would be really, really good fits here. What is, so yeah, we'll talk about it for a few more minutes, and then we're going to talk about a little bit more draft stuff. And yeah, I mean, this guy has a point. QB has a longer shelf life. Age isn't as big a concern. Yeah, Matthew Stafford is going to be able to play really good football for 4+ more years. So it's not that big of a concern. And I would give up a first as long as we have a contract agreement in place to extend him, because I don't think it's worth Matthew Stafford for just 2 years with not a guarantee of getting an extension. So if we can get an extension, let's say a 2-year extension for Matthew Stafford or a 3-year extension, so we have him under control for 5 years, then I would do it. But if we don't have him under control, then I don't know. So yeah, for the people that didn't hear you earlier, what would you be willing to give up for Matthew Stafford?
So now looking back at it, Aaron Smith made a great trade, in my opinion. You remember how earlier I said I will give up a second, but I'm not even sold on that. Aaron Smith, what he put up, that's the exact trade that I would do. second round pick and both thirds for Matthew Stafford, that is, I would do that, honestly speaking. But I just think since, like you said, we're an NFC team, they're going to want a little bit more. But honestly speaking, to the second and 2/3 is enough, in my opinion. I would do that. And although we'll be giving up both of our third rounds, maybe we could. Do we have 2 fourth rounds? I don't think we have.
No, we got 1 first, 1 second, 2/3, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, no sixth, and 2 sevenths, I believe.
Oh, okay. So okay, that's where the other 2 was. Okay, I would do that, honestly speaking. But I just feel like Detroit's gonna want much more, and if they want any more of that, then I wouldn't do it.
I would honestly rather just give up a first and a second and 2/3 because I feel like you're taking out huge chunk of your draft. I mean, you go from, I mean, sure, still get your first round pick, but that's 3 players that, I mean, you think about it. We drafted Gibson in the 3rd round, we drafted Terry in the 3rd round, and we haven't had a 2nd round draft pick for a while. So maybe you could do a second, a third this year, and a third next year, but I would give up a first round pick and maybe something else. Depending on, obviously, we have no idea what they're gonna give up or what they're gonna be willing to take. What's up, AM Hunter? How you doing, man? Thanks for always coming in here. Draft Hamasa. Sorry, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that, but I'll look into him. I'm doing my film studies, or these guys right now.
I understand people want to trade. And my bad for cutting you off, but I understand people want to draft a safety. I wouldn't mind it, honestly, but me personally, I don't think safety is that big of a need as it was coming into the season. Because strong safety, obviously Landon Collins is hurt. I don't want Landon Collins back, so maybe that's really the big issue. But at the same time, because if you think, I think what Cam Curl played was strong safety. I think me personally, free safety, I would put Cam. Cam could play both, but I would put Cam at free, and I would put Shays at strong. But if anything, I would draft. You can draft a safety strong or free, but like I said already, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You have Cam, you have Shays, you have Jeremy. It's just like I understand, Pete. We can always have better, but the depth there is crazy. Yes, he can, King Sean. He can play both. Did you not hear his pre-draft analysis? He can play cornerback. He can play both safety positions. He did it all at Arkansas. Yes, he can. He can play free safety and strong safety. But honestly speaking, I don't think a strong safety is as important, but we can always add on. So, AM Hunter, appreciate the comment, man. You always think.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I would probably rather address the cornerback position.
Yeah.
I mean, it really just, we don't know their plan. That's the thing. We don't know their plan, so we don't know what they're going to do with Landon, if they're going to put him at linebacker. Who knows? But I think adding a solid cornerback would not be bad. And yeah, we'll see. Let's get into the draft, and let's go ahead and do one quick, mock draft. We can do more of like fan mock draft. Look at the responses in the by the fans.
So they
And
want the guy. My bad. They want the guy from Florida. Honestly speaking, I would put Cam Kerr at free, and then I would run it back with or it's not Cam Kerr. Cam Kerr at strong, and then put Shays at free and run it back like that because they were fantastic. We can get the guy from FSU that you guys like and probably use him more as depth, and then let him fight it out for the starting spot. Me, I just like Shays, man. He got his opportunity and took full advantage of it. But what we got to know is that he doesn't stay healthy that much, and he was only one year or half of 1 year.
And Reeves is solid too. Like, so we have some players at that position. So let's go ahead. We're at 19. Oh, this is tough. Okay, so we're at 19, and these are the players available: Trey Lance.
I wasn't gonna say Trey Lance. I already know.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I already know everyone's gonna say Trey Lance because he's already there. But
I'm gonna just say let's not do Trey Lance because a lot of these mocks in the stream sometimes I pick them, and also I think we're gonna go ahead and address that position earlier. So let's not go after Trey Lance in this. So there's 2 guys here that are really, really good that I really like. You got Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech, really good left tackle. And you got Zaven Collins, Terrence Marshall, You got Tony from Florida, Leatherwood from Alabama, and you got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So, this is gonna be a tough one. What do you guys think down below in the comments? Do you guys want to go tackle, linebacker, receiver? Who do you guys want? So we got some people saying Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. We got some people saying Rashad Bateman. We got some people saying Zaven Collins. I'm not sure if Bateman is available. Let me see what wide receivers are available. Bateman is available. Bateman is available. Let's see. Quarterbacks, they got Trey Lance, Mac Jones. Running back, Javonte Williams. Linebacker, Zaven Collins. So let's go all and let's see. Let me read some comments real quick. Some people saying Bateman, some people saying linebacker, some people saying wide receiver, offensive tackle. And again, guys, I appreciate all the support for the channel. You guys help out a ton. Make sure you guys subscribe to Juan Gotti, great YouTuber. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that. So I think, what would you do here? You look at the board. You got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. You got Christian Darrisaw, Rashad Bateman. You got a lot of options. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Well, honestly, my bad, but honestly, this is the best board I've seen because you have every position. You have Trey Lance if you want to go Trey Lance. You have Rashad Bateman if you want to go receiver. If you want to go left tackle, you have the guy that what did he go to VTech? I believe VTech. I think he went to Virginia Tech. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Christian Darrisaw went to VTech.
Yeah, he went to VTech. You have him, and then you also have the linebackers, Zaven Collins, and you also have the guy from Notre Dame. So this is the best board but I'm just gonna go like I'm gonna X him out. Quarterback, I don't think we need one, especially if we get Matthew Stafford. Trey Lance, now that he's there, I would take him only if we attack the wide receiver position in free agency and he fell into our lap at 19. I would take him then. But if he's not, let's just like pretend like we don't need him because we got our quarterback in free agency. So I wouldn't take Trey Lance since everyone's already taken him. We have our quarterback. We have Matthew Stafford. Just hypothetically. Left line, I don't think we need a line. Our line is pretty good already. You know what I'm saying? Cornelius Lucas and Christian. He's a good backup, but Cornelius Lucas fight it out. You wouldn't it wouldn't to add on a left tackle, but I don't think you need one. Let's just say we re-signed Brandon Sheriff. Right guard got him back. Left guard Wes Schweitzer's holding it down. Right tackle and obviously Morgan Moses. So this left tackle was actually really good, and John Masco did a really good job. So I don't think you need to add on a left tackle. Now you're down to receiver and linebacker. Me personally, I would love Rashad Bateman, man. I really like Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. I would like him to go with Terry McLaurin, but Ron Rivera already said he wants to add a veteran wide receiver 2 alongside Terry McLaurin. Well, he doesn't have to be wide receiver 2, but he would be wide receiver 2 here in DC. So I think Ron Rivera is going to go veteran route for a wide receiver because we already have a bunch of young guys. So I think the pick here should be either Zaven Collins or the guy from Notre Dame. I can't pronounce his name, so that's why I call him the guy from Notre Dame.
Just call him Jock, J-O-K. A lot of people just call him.
Okay, well, Jock.
Yeah, so I really like. I've watched some film on a few players. I haven't watched on a lot yet, but I've watched Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He is amazing. I mean, he's just a freak. He's an absolute freak. He is probably the best. Oh, and real quick, thank you so much, Am Hunter, for the $2 donation. Appreciate it, man. I like Jeremy. I think you're saying Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Zaven at 19. I think, yeah, linebacker would be a good pick. And I mean, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is just so good in coverage as a linebacker. And that would be amazing. I mean, he's such a good coverage linebacker. He's also solid in the run, too. And he can get to the quarterback if needed, and we don't necessarily need him off the edge, but he can do that. He's got some good play rec, and he is just like after the stream's done, just go ahead and look up Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah's some of his highlights, or just look up Notre Dame linebacker highlights. He's just such a stud. He's a beast. I think Christian Darrisaw is also good, and Zaven Collins is good. I love his story. I like everything about him, but I think Jeremiah Wuso-Koromoa is a better player. I'm not sure about the fit. I don't know necessarily if he would be our middle linebacker, but I think Cole Holcomb could be our middle linebacker, and Jeremiah Wuso-Koromoa could be on the outside. Um, so we'll see about that. So we're going on to our. So I picked him up, but there's a lot of other players we could have picked up. But yeah, I agree with you, Juan. That was a really good board right there. So what position do you think we should address in the third round without really looking at the board? But what do you like in the third round, like position wise?
Now we've been having a lot of success with third round picks. Running back last year, slash receiver Antonio Gibson. Year before that, Terry McLaurin. I think if you add another position player here, whether that's quarterback, wide receiver, or tight end, I think you add another position player right here. I think since we've done so well with drafting receivers in the third round the past couple of years, or even just hitting the head with Terry McLaurin, I think you draft another receiver here or tight end.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind wide receiver. I really think they're gonna want to go, like you said, receiver in free agency, and maybe not go as much in this draft. They might though. We already drafted a linebacker, so we're probably not going to do that. I personally, we didn't go tackle in the first round. I think they could go tackle here, and I agree with all of you guys. I think our line is a lot better than we thought it was going to be. I think it was a lot better than we thought it was going to be. I think Morgan Moses, solid right tackle, Sheriff, all pro. Chase Rulia, good starting center, and Schweitzer's also good. And I think Lucas is going to be okay. I think he's a solid starter, but he's not going to be much better than he was this year. I think I think that you could go and draft a guy, and he doesn't necessarily have to start right away, but I think that could be it. Have not watched Tony too much from Florida. Gonna get around to it. I've seen some mock drafts having him mocked to us at like 19. So we'll see. So I'm thinking about a tackle here. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what other positions. I mean, you could go Nico Collins. I think he's really solid from Michigan. Let's see any other. There's a lot of good. How about what do you guys think about Richard LeConte? Or I know I'm mispronouncing his name. Sean Wade is there. I don't think personally Sean Wade is going to be drafted early. I really don't. I think he's going to be drafted later than the second round. I do. Where do you think he's going? Like what roundish?
I think third, maybe. I think third is actually the perfect spot for him. No later than the fifth round. But if is Kadarius Toney there?
I don't think so. I don't think. But
Okay.
I do like. He said that he is available.
Nah, he was just saying his name, and that's another guy. I think it was King Sean. Yeah, King Sean. Kadarius Toney's really good. I would draft him if he was there, but since he's not there, the guy that I would have drafted that I keep every night I'm pissed off college is Desmond Ritter, bro. That guy is gonna be so good when he comes to the NFL, and next year he's gonna be a first round pick for sure. So he made the smart move by going back to college. I'm telling you guys, they were literally one game away, and they almost beat Georgia. They were one game away, but for being one of the for being a Power 5 school, making it into the college football playoffs next year or this year. Don't be surprised if they make it to the CFB college football playoffs next year. Desmond Ritter is so good. If he declared for the draft, I think this would have been the pick for Washington, or this would have been a smart pick. But since he's not there, I think we go wide receiver. Like you said, left tackle or offensive line. I wouldn't be mad if we got him, but I just don't think we need him. So for the receivers here, keep scrolling.
Yeah,
Sean Wade.
I mean, I also wouldn't be mad at cornerback either. I think.
Me neither.
I think Nico Collins is really good. Elijah Moore is solid too. I mean, Elijah Moore might be more of a slot receiver though. I don't know.
I wish Chris Olave would have came out.
Yeah, but I think he would have been earlier second. I think It honestly, it could be a dumb move by him by not declaring, but I mean, this receiver class is stacked. He's going to be like a top 3 receiver next year. So,
Oh yeah, so this is second round. I forgot. I'm so used to us not having a second round pick that I thought this was third. This is hard because it's not really no receivers that's right there that really rings a bell as far as talent wise. I know a lot of people like Armand St. Brown or Armand Fa St. Brown, I guess how you say it. I know a lot of people like him. They comment on him under my page all the time.
yeah, I like him. So, let's just do this. I don't think St. Brown's there, guys. Let's go ahead and do this. He might be, I'm not sure. But do you guys want to do we'll go off do you guys want to go offensive tackle or wide receiver? Offensive tackle or wide receiver. Go ahead and comment that in the chat. If you do get a wide receiver, I'm going to go ahead and do what's his name? Nico Collins.
Yeah,
St.
so
Brown.
Curl. Oh my bad, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just reading the comment. Jamon said, "I'm not moving Cam Curl to free safety." Yeah, I only recommended him for free safety because he can play it. He wouldn't be the best option. I understand that. He best suits strong safety, but he can also play. He could play free safety if we get banged up. He played it really good in college. So he could stay as strong safety, but if all else fails and a lot of injuries hit, God forbid that happens. But if a lot of injuries hit, he can always play it.
Yeah. So King Sean said wide receiver, wide receiver. A lot of people want wide receiver. Some people say offensive tackle. So, okay, and real quick, Philip, thank you so much for the donation. After the second round, it's like a lottery. You need more tickets to win. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely true. I mean, the more picks you have, the more chances you have at getting these late round steals. I mean, third round isn't even a late round steal, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, those late round picks, even the third, but more like the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. I mean, it's hard to get good players, and I agree. I mean, if you go from the second and get 2 third round picks, you're getting more tickets to the lottery. Again, thank you for the donation, man. Always helping out the channel. So I mean, a lot of people are saying wide receiver. I personally will go ahead and draft Nico Collins. I would not be mad if we draft a receiver here. I just don't think it's going to happen because I think they're going to address the position in free agency. And I think we'll probably address wide receiver later on in the draft. But we'll go ahead and take Nico Collins. But I would have probably either gone corner here or tackle. So that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clary, I agree with you.
We drafted a linebacker. The guy was it the guy from Notre Dame?
Yeah, we got Jeremiah Uso-Cormo in the first.
Yeah, he's really good at excuse me, just like Zaven Collins. So either one we would have got, it was really good, honestly. Zaven Collins or Job.
Yeah, I mean Jeremiah Uso-Cormo, his covering is insane for linebacker. Okay, we have a pretty easy pick in my opinion. Jackson Carman from Clemson, pretty good offensive tackle. I think I wanted to go tackle last draft. We got him here in the third round, probably going to be in the second round. Am Hunter said, like the footage of Zaven Collins, ridiculous coverage, sacks, range, and athletic. Yeah, I mean, Collins would be good too. I mean, depends on how the draft board shapes up, but I would not be mad with him at all. Yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford isn't a free agent, but they're going to most likely trade him. So let's see. So I think Jackson Carman would be the pick. I mean, he's the best player available. He's the 65th ranked prospect on this site. We're picking 76. So that's what I would do right there. What would you do here? What you like tackle? Let me look at cornerbacks, see if there's any good corners. Yeah, no good corners.
Well, me personally, I would have went corner. But since there's no good ones, I think you have no choice but to go tackle. I don't mind drafting a lineman. I just think that this offensive line performs so well that we don't need one. I think the time to draft a depth tackle would probably was the same where we drafted Keith Ishmael last year, like the 5th or 6th round this year. I think that's the time you draft depth pieces. I think the third round is kind of still guys that you are hoping that could start for you one day. And we still have Sadiq Charles, that left guard. We got David Sharp, who's not really that good, but he's on the roster. So like that we traded for actually. So you have a bunch of linemen. They have a lot of good depth. So the only reason why I would draft linemen is later in the round for depth. In the third round, I would go cornerback, but since there's no good corners, I think you have no choice but to go left tackle.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like if there's an elite lineman, I think like if there's not really any linebackers we like in the first or receivers, then I think Christian Darrisaw in the first wouldn't be bad because he's going to be a legit starter. He can start right away and be a good starter and eventually possibly be a Pro Bowler or better if you develop him. But in the third, it's harder to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and take Jackson Carman. Walker Little solid too. Spencer Brown all right, but I've seen Carman play and he's pretty solid. So okay, we're at 82 right here. Let's look at the position here, and this is gonna be our last pick, and then we'll probably end the stream in a couple of minutes. So best player available, Walker Little's here. I'm not gonna take him. So I mean, there's a lot. Let's see, cornerback. Well, this is going to be a hard. There's not really any players that we need right here. Let's see if there's any good wide receivers. There's some good wide receivers. This is tough.
Can you see tight ends real quick?
Yeah, let me look at tight ends. I thought, yeah, there's no Tommy Tremble. Notre Dame.
Not really no good tight ends, but like you got to keep in mind is Logan Thomas plays so well, and they even coming into camp they thought so well of Logan Thomas that they're not thinking, in my opinion, to bring in a guy that's going to start over him. I think they're thinking of bringing a guy like a Richard or like a backup tight end, actually, somebody of the sort that is right here on the screen, because they know that they can go out there and play solid enough to, help out better than the Jeremy Sprinkle, obviously, but not that good to the point where he's starting over Logan Thomas good. That's just my opinion because I think they think so highly of one Logan Thomas. So I think tight end wouldn't be bad here, but once again, tight end wouldn't be a spot where I would draft this early, especially if he's not going to be starting.
Yeah, I think I would go tight end probably in that 4th to 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
But just for more depth here, I don't know. I like you said earlier, I don't think safety is the best option. But we already drafted tackle, wide receiver. There's no really good corners, so I think you go safety here. I mean, again, I don't really like this situation right here, but I like Andre Cisco, Richard LeCount, so I'm going to go ahead and take Cisco. Again, don't think safety is a necessity, but it's really the best option at that position. So we'll answer a few more questions, and then we're going to call it a day in a minute or so. So let me know any questions you guys have, and let's see. Yeah. And Juan, anything you have to say, anything you got to plug?
Well, outside of the news that really broke this week, I love Ron Rivera, but I just feel like this was the worst move he could have made. But in Ron we trust. Let's go get Matt Stafford, man. Let's go draft get a good linebacker up in here. Let's go sign a good wide receiver in free agency, and let's just hope for a great 2020. And man, other than that, appreciate you guys for watching. Oh, predictions for tomorrow. That's what we forgot.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, we got to do our predictions. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's start off with the Chiefs game. Let's start off that one. I know it's the later game, but you go ahead and do your prediction first for that one.
Well, for my opinion, I think we should do what realistic is going to happen, but what we want to happen. So me personally, for the Chiefs and Bills, what I think will happen is the Chiefs end up winning. But what I want to happen is the Bills to win, because I just think that that team is so good. They never lose in the AFC Championship, but I just think the Chiefs are going to beat them. And can I just say this real quick? That is the fastest. And people say he didn't have a concussion, but he had to go into concussion protocol. Well, all I can say is this: is that is the fastest I've seen a player clear concussion protocol ever. Patrick Mahomes cleared that joint in like 2 days, man. He was out there practicing full, well, not full, but limited out there, man. And you have Jordan Reed over here who took 1 million hits, obviously, so that's probably why. But you have Jordan Reed over here who set out a whole season for a concussion. So it's like, I don't know, NFL, but like me personally, I think Chiefs are gonna win. What I want to happen is the Bills gonna win. For the Packers and Saints, I think Packers and Bucks, my bad. Packers and Bucks. I want the Packers to win, and I think the Packers are going to win. But we all know the NFL wants to see Brady versus Mahomes. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I really, really hope the Packers and Bills win, because that is the Super Bowl I want to see. It's not going to be the most popular one, but it's going to be the most interesting one because it's going to be high scoring, man.
I think the NFL wants Rodgers versus Mahomes. I think they want that. Never happened before. But here's my thing. I think the Chiefs are going to win 30 to I'll say 21-20 or 31-27. And here's the thing. I like the Bills better as a team, but I want the Chiefs to win because I want the better Super Bowl matchup, and I want to see Green Bay versus the Chiefs. I like the Bills team, and I would not be mad if they won because I love their fans, and I think they haven't won in a while. So I mean they lost 4 straight Super Bowls. So I think the Chiefs are going to win, and I'm so torn on the Bucks Packers game. I don't know who's going to win this one. I want the Packers to win, though. I definitely want the Packers to win. I want to see A-Rod get in that Super Bowl. I want to see him win another Super Bowl. And this is a tough one. I mean, the Bucks lost AB for this game, but Vita Vea is back, and he's a great run stopper.
What happened to Antonio Brown?
Yeah, AB's not in there either. So this is just such a tough game for me to pick. I don't know. Like I think the Packers should win, but like I have a sneaky feeling that the Bucks are gonna pull this one out. I don't know. I don't have my final prediction yet. I'll go ahead and put that on Twitter later today or tomorrow. I still haven't done it yet, and
I think the theory behind it is the Bucks beat up on the Packers earlier this season, and I think that the Packers are going to get payback. It's going to be in Lambeau. They're going to have a ton of fans. I don't know if you guys saw last week's game. I'm pretty sure you all did. But you guys seen how much fans meant this year and how much it affected that was the Saints. Who did they play last week? I forgot. My brain is totally dead. I think I know it was. It was the who was the my brain, bro. My brain is literally
Wait, what's the question?
Nah, I was just trying to. Oh, the Rams. There we go. Lord, my fault. They played the Rams, and you see how much the fans impacted that game, especially this year. And with the Bucks not really having that many fans like in their stands, but especially not more than Lambeau, I think it's going to affect Brady a lot. And also, I'm going to add on this. I think it was Protect Sports who made this a statement, which was kind of bold, but it was actually pretty good. I think it was Protect. I could be wrong, but he was like, if we beat Brady in the wild card, we're playing an NFC East or an NFC Championship right now because we wouldn't have smoked the Saints. But as you saying, Drew Brees was clearly not able to move the ball downfield, and we would have beat the Saints, and we would be in the NFC Championship right now playing the Packers. Well, not the Packers. We would probably have to be somebody else because we would have played the Packers in the second round, I think. But nevertheless, he think no, I'm right. I think it would have been the Saints second round. I think so. We would have played the Saints, and I think it would be the Packers in the NFC Championship. He made a bold statement, but I think it's kind of true because if we'd have beat the Bucks, got Brady out the way, Breeze with this pressure in his face, the Bucks defensive line isn't better than ours. It's really good, but it's not better than ours. So I think we'd have been able to take care of Tampa or the Saints. Then I think this would have been the matchup. I think he really hit it on the head. I think it was Protect Sports. I could be wrong, but that's a bold but realistic statement.
Yeah. So, everyone, thank you guys for coming in here. I'll have a video out tomorrow. So thanks for coming in here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. And hopefully we go after Stafford. I really, really hope so. Because if we do, man, I think we're a 10 plus team, 10 win team plus, and maybe even more, and possibly win a playoff game or two. So thanks for coming in here. Peace. Peace, Philip.
Peace.